Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Afei de US aban agye to mu say omode Ken Ofori-Atta ebeba eye oman Ghana mu ana. We a call between the former Attorney General of the United States of America, John Ashcroft, and afei so no the Attorney General of Ghana, Dr. Dominic Ayine. Dr. Dominic Ayine the Attorney General of Ghana. Now, we're breaking silence on Ken Ofori-Atta the detention issue. Yeah, ICE no ewo abroad. Now, we're leaking a conversation between no Attorney General and the former Attorney General of the United States of America, John Ashcroft. Yeah, John Ashcroft say ya makwan emma Ken Ofori-Atta ebepemu ewo Ghana. Mubema emra nino adi abra munye political witch hunting and answer persecuting ana eno ena Dr. Dominic Ayine assure John Ashcroft say mu makwan and answer Ken Ofori-Atta ebepemu ewo oman Ghana. President John Dramani Mahama na mamuomu the government for all na emra ena omone no ebedi nemum say political witch hunting so mbetiti ane fa ahodie so de Ghana emra emma eho kwan se obi abetitia obi a wadi bone kra efa ahodie na ensemwe ne ensema hodo bi na Dominic Ayine edetodwa abra o break silence on Ken Ofori-Atta ni detention by ICE in America. Na mempese mekasa ebewa no yentie the full details from Dr. Dominic Ayine. Higher PENDREAM TV. Subscribe to the channel, bell notification no. Na share ma afofro ensa enkebi comment section ho. Na wode wadrenche apa.
Make this public, but I started investigating Ofori-Atta. All right. In fact, in his case, I'm doing it with some foreign investigators that are tracking all the offshore dealings and so on, all right? And then, of course, we are also doing our own investigations here. They are inconclusive as we speak. I mean, we have not, come to any conclusion. So
this is different from the SML?
It's different, totally different, and,
okay.
and potentially mind-blowing, but I that I will not, give any details at this point in time. So I started working with the Americans in respect of Ofori-Atta long before OSP, came up with their announcement. Yeah, I started working with them, and I want Ghanaians to know that he just didn't overstay his visa. The visa was actually revoked. So it's not that Ofori-Atta, overstayed. So in July, the American government revoked, the State Department revoked his visa, all right? And they gave him up to November 29th of 2024 to leave the United States. Okay, he did not, and then that is how come that they decided they were going to now pursue him, and arrest him. Actually, the arrest was supposed to occur on January 4th, and they did not do so. But on Tuesday, January 6th, they apprehended him. In the Virginia area and took him into.
You're saying this is not exactly about immigration?
Yes, it's not exactly about immigration.
His visa his visa is not expired.
No,
it
was revoked. The visa was revoked. I am telling you this on authority. All right. The last meeting that I had with the American authorities was just 3 days ago.
His lawyers say here in Ghana say this is just a standard process.
No, it's not. It's not a. They want to give it that a twist, to make it look like there is nothing wrong. But of course, the extradition request that I sent was in respect of the OSP.
Yes, the SML matter.
Yes, but I have been working with the Americans diligently on him, and the visa was revoked, and. That is how come that he lost his immigration status in the United States.
Explain to me, visa is revoked on account of you investigating him?
Something I wouldn't want to give any details because we speak with in confidence with the Americans, but this is something that I can publicly confirm that a visa was revoked.
So in respect of his extradition, are your lawyers in America to assist the state as the Department of Justice. As we understand, there's supposed to be some 2 lawyers from your place, 2 lawyers from the OSP or so, to go and help the Americans who will prosecute the case in the American courts.
Normally, we don't send our lawyers. We don't send our lawyers. We are represented because we make the request to the American authorities. So just like here, when they make a request, my office, mostly led by, my deputy, Justice Rimsai, goes to court. My lawyers go to court, and they represent the interests of the United States of America.
That's right.
And they do all the arguments. And then when, they persuade the judge grants the extradition request, and then, we extradite the person. It is going to be the same. So you see, when I said that Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta had hired top lawyers in America to argue his case for him, and that is not going to be an easy battle trying to bring him home. People thought that I was going to the United States to face his lawyers there, and I was afraid. I'm not afraid. Paul Adomochiri did a show here where he said a Stanford lawyer, and you are afraid of lawyers in America. I'm not afraid of them.
He's not the only one who was unhappy.
No, but nobody ought to be unhappy, because John Ashcroft, the former attorney, general of the United States of America, all right, called me and said he was the one representing, Ken Ofori-Atta in the matter. But his concerns, that the reason he called me was for me to assure him that when Ken is returned to Ghana, all right, he will get a fair trial. And I assured him of the fact that under this government, and in accordance with Article 19 of the Constitution, his right to a fair trial is guaranteed. No one is going to, Ken Ofori-Atta is not he's not the person that will come here and we're going to treat him very shabbily and so on and so forth. He will be accorded due process of law. His fair trial rights will be guaranteed and so on. So I talked with John Ashcroft, but at the time, I could not, including the lawyer, Isinat, the lawyer who granted the interview.
That's right.
So there were 3 of them, 3 lawyers who spoke to me via, a Zoom on that day when they were expressing concerns. Okay. So at that point in time, it was confidential. I could not mention John Ashcroft as his lawyer. All right. But I was simply saying that when you take the fact that he has these top lawyers coming to court in America to defend him, it is not going to be a day's work to bring him home.
That's obvious.
Because, he will appear before, in this current matter, he will appear before an immigration judge. All right. On January 20th, he's appearing before an immigration judge.
Right.
He has a right to appeal that decision to a district court.
Right.
From the district court, he can go to a circuit court of appeals. Yeah. Then from there to the United States, Supreme Court. That is potentially the legal pathway to, the determination as to whether or not he should be taken from America.
Right.
If he doesn't self-deport, this is what is going to happen. In the extradition case, again, a district court will hear the proceedings and make a determination as to whether to extradite him. If he is not happy about that, he can go to a circuit court of appeal and to the United States of American,
right.
So I was just laying out, the legal pathway that, lies ahead of us.
And which could drag.
And that is part of the process of probity and accountability.
But why do you get a sick man's visa revoked? And as I understand, it was revoked in June.
No, in July.
June or July?
July, I think.
Rather?
Yeah.
Okay.
July.
Well, he's sick. He's not well. That's what we are told. He needs to recuperate from treatment.
Do you
and so
recuperate only in America? You can recuperate here. There are people here with prostate cancer who are treating themselves. We have
overdone our time.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
We have overdone our time. Yes. But quick one. The CRC reports.
Yes.
Kwesi H. Prempeh's report. Yeah. You are not issuing a white paper?
We are working. No, we will not issue a white paper on that, but we will make known the government's position on the various recommendations.
You will be against MPs not being ministers? Because it's a busy place. You wish you were not MP so you can take care of the office.
Look, left to me, my personal opinion, I think a strict separation is a good thing. That is not to say that the hybrid system doesn't have its own benefits.
All right.
So we'll also, talk to the MPs, okay? And of course, People have forgotten that it is the MPs who must pass the law to disable themselves from becoming ministers.
That's right.
So definitely it's going to be something that we'll have to deal with. Maybe we should simply reduce the percentage. Instead of 50%, we'll say maybe 1/3 of cabinet. And cabinet is now going to be, and that is something we are accepting, cabinet is now going to be 57.
That's right.
So if you are 57, you have 1/3 of 57.
Okay.
You know, that should be fine.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
30 seconds, what should we expect from your office this year?
Well, you should expect a lot of work, a lot of output, you know, and recoveries of funds into the public kitty.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice. In respect of the oral matters, so from where you sit, how does success look like? 2,417 cases presented to the president.
Yeah.
How many of them do you think that by the end of the day you would have been able to do? And even though you didn't want to give a figure, of the 21 billion, about how much do you realistically estimate that you can achieve for the country?
Okay, so let's start with the oral report. The oral report was in segments, and 2,000 and plus cases that you are talking about came out of, you know, the various segments. So, for instance, if you take the land, right, you take the land looting cases, they are one component, okay, of the oral cases. Not all of them, I can say this with certainty, not all of them will end up, you know, going to court, right? There will be some of them, there are some of them, we are, I mean, realizing that the evidence, okay, because, I mean, the oral report was a collection of allegations, a collection of complaints. And that is why I find it a bit disconcerting, you know, when people like my brother, my senior brother, Dominic, you know, complain about the slowness of the investigation.
He's been consistent with that complaint.
Well, that is for me very disconcerting and very concerning, because their report was just bare-bone allegations, right? And I cannot take bare-bone allegations to court. So I will have to diligently investigate. And I've been doing that. And that is how come that we have the cases that have been filed so far.
Dominic was the first to admit that that report needed further work.
That is so. So I want something. Let me
his view is that you need to speed up because people are losing hope.
Yes. Well, I don't think
that's a fact.
No, people are not losing hope. I'm not living in a bubble, right? I interact with Ghanaians on a daily basis. All right, they meet me and they tell me, thank you for the good work you are doing for this country. Ghanaians still have hope, and their hope will be, you know, vindicated when we have convictions, when we have recoveries and so on. But it's a process that must be, you know, followed through with diligence. All right. So, for instance, I've given you one example, DRIP. Okay. So in the DRIP investigation, right, which started immediately after the submission of the report, it got to a point in time that, as I said, I needed GRA to confirm the tax evasion. I wrote to GRA in July of last year. I just got their letter back, okay, this December. Now, how do I proceed to court without the participation of the agency that can confirm that the wrongdoing has occurred?
You said the same thing about the ghost names NSS scandal also. You had to get the Auditor General involved.
Okay. And even National Cathedral, for instance, I'm still waiting for the forensic report. I can't proceed to court on National Cathedral unless the forensic report is given to me. So for people like Dominic, I'm a bit, surprised that they know that even when I have filed a case in court, okay, the speed of the case doesn't depend exclusively on me. It also depends.
But he sits there and he also reads reports that the Iyoko Attorney General has filed the process. They are being asked to make disclosures and they are found wanting. They can't seem to be ready. he's reading about the Edubuahin matter we spoke about a while ago, and the commentary is that your own witness is crumbling your case.
No. You see, what we have to understand is that, okay, first of all, criminal trial is a judicially controlled, process. So, for instance, the judge says, I'm giving an adjournment of 1 month or 2 months, and I plead with the judge, or my lawyers plead with the judge not to give a short adjournment, and the judge refuses. What do I do in that case? I can't compel the judge to give me a shorter period of adjournment. Then also, one thing that you in the media, you have to take account of, and also investigate thoroughly, is that there are misrepresentations coming out of court. Okay, bloggers are being paid to make it look like, our case is crumbling. All right, they misreport whatever is happening in court. They misrepresent it, to the people of this country. But as a media person, if you objectively look at the evidence that we have filed, you will see that we did a fantastic job, of digging into the case and then unearthing evidence of wrongdoing. So for me, Rome was not built in a day. Every criminal trial has to go through the due process, okay? And so if people like him are saying that I should speed up, yes, I will speed up, okay? But I don't want to speed up and then trip along the line. And the same people will say, well, you see, Ayine didn't do his work well, that is why he's tripping, right? So yes, there are, a situation like what you have described where, in terms of the disclosures, okay, there is a delay in getting some documents, or there's or in submitting some documents to the court, okay, and then they blow it out of proportion. It's not unusual for the prosecution to say, look, we are looking at our documents. If you say we should make a disclosure, we have put all our documents that we want to use for our case in court. Now, if they are making demands on us, all right, for documents, and then we are preparing to give them the documents, we are putting those documents together, and time runs out on us, then they say, oh, our documents are not ready.
Yeah, but the point is that you should have been ready before that. Once you are putting them on trial, you should have had
we have all our documents. So, for instance, they are making it look like we need to supply them documents to defend themselves. But it's not our duty to do so.
But it's a requirement of the law.
No,
that you put the person on trial, you disclose and give documents that the accused needs to have to them.
Documents
and that must happen before the trial. That's why it's happening.
No, it's something. You see, there's a world of difference between, so what we have said in the docket, and the documents supporting our case, right, has been disclosed. So, for instance, one of the demands that they made in the Edubuahin case was that we should disclose the interrogation, videos. All right. Now, that is not something that we were putting forward in our case. We have our docket built. We have all the statements of the accused persons, of witnesses, and so on and so forth. That was our case that we took to court. Then you say, okay, make available to us the, the interrogation videos. Okay, so we have to go back into our system and then upload. So, for instance, with some of them, they may be erased because we don't have, enough space to be able to preserve them, and so on and so forth. So we have to go back into our system and then make those, videos available to them. Okay, so those are the circumstances that they are talking about. They're not saying
someone like that, he's watching the space.
Yes.
And that's 49.1 million Ghana cedis.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
At least the cases you have put out so far, that's the highest amount you are casing. The NSS.
No, the buffer stock is 78 point something.
So just quickly million. About that one, then we'll move on. Yeah. When you say the media, and this is not the first time you are saying that, at your last press conference, you spoke about bloggers being paid to misreport and mislead.
Yes.
They are reporting from the courtroom. For example, this morning, I had to ask you that we have seen that there's a letter that was written by the National Security. Is it National Security?
The former National Security
Coordinator.
Yeah, allegedly written by the former
confirming that he had authorized the opening of the accounts that you are indicting Edu Boaheng on.
Yes.
Then I refer to the Israeli company.
Yes.
You, in your charges, you say that he didn't deliver the cyber defense device
equipment. Yeah.
But they write to say he has delivered it. If this is what the bloggers are reporting, and then your witness in court also confirming some of the things and they are reporting, what is it about somebody being paid or somebody doing misreporting?
Well, okay. So if there is a factual development in court, like the ISC letter, right, and you are reporting it, you have to be accurate with respect to its content. Okay, what did the letter say exactly about the equipment that was bought, right? Did they say that the equipment that was bought, the money came from the BNC, the private BNC account? Is that what they said?
What they are interested in is that they purchased the equipment and it's been paid for. And you say it wasn't delivered. Until you explain here, I didn't know that there were differences. There were supposed to be two devices.
Yes.
So maybe you don't blame the bloggers.
Well, I blame the bloggers because the able deputy made that case very clear in court that there were two pieces of equipment, all right? One of our witnesses, the director of finance of the National Signals Bureau, made that abundantly clear in court that there were two pieces of equipment that are involved in this trial. One, the authentic, pages. One, equipment delivered pursuant to the authentic pages. And then the second equipment that we are talking about is the one that he, mimicked the other transaction in order to steal the money. All right.
You have said that already. It's the first time you are telling me, and I'm hearing also, that the letter that was written by the former security coordinator, you suspect is fake, is forged.
Yes.
So you can't blame the reporter. They see the document and they say the name of the game is evidence.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, so a letter was written, right? What are its legal implications? Okay, and I'm saying that, first of all, we suspect that letter was forged, okay, or it's a forgery. It's a fake document. Secondly, we are also saying that even if it was an authentic letter, all right, the dead man was a co-conspirator in a criminal enterprise. And if he were alive today, I would have arrested him, added him to Edu Boaheng to prosecute him, because they are not supposed to do what they did. Okay. That is against the public, financial management laws of the country. It is against even their own signal bureau, laws. You see, I was talking with one person who told me, he has a former security couple, told me that, you see, national security, you don't investigate them because even if they take the money and throw it into the Kole Lagoon, you can't do anything about it. I looked at him in the face and I said, you know what? If any national security person takes our public money and throws it into the Kole Lagoon, I am going to arrest them and I'm going to prosecute them for causing damage to public property.
The question has been asked The question has been asked, who is the complainant in this matter? Has the national security complained to you that they have lost the money?
No, I don't need a complainant to be able to bring criminal, prosecutions.
Okay. Now,
I don't.
You are heavily criticized.
Yes.
What has become your frank, press conferences have also become a hallmark of your tenure.
Yes.
But your critics argue that you sometimes pronounce the suspects guilty. This clearly undermines the constitutional presumption of innocence and the human rights of the accused persons.
Okay. So what is wrong with a prosecutor telling the public what he has found? There is absolutely nothing wrong. And in none of those press conferences have I said that the person is guilty of the offense. I just lay out all the facts and some of the evidence to give Ghanaians a taste of what, I have been able to unearth.
You don't have to use the word guilty. When you talk about the buffer stock and others and you say, I cannot see how they can escape this. This is a betrayal of the of the public trust
Yes.
and all of that.
Yes.
That's tantamount to pronouncing them guilty.
Well, but
something that the court should do.
But you see, if a prosecutor doesn't believe strongly in his case, he shouldn't take it to court. And what I do is simply to, express strong belief in the case that I'm sending to court. All right. There are people who criticize me. I don't know whether they watch TV. If they do, prosecutors in America, they lay out the charges, they lay out the facts, they sometimes even touch on the evidence and so on. And America is a democracy of over centuries, over 200 years. We are a democracy. The Fourth Republic, has lasted for just, 30-something years now. All right. So I don't know why in a democratic system of government, a prosecutor cannot tell the people what he has been able to find, especially when the crime is against the Republic. Okay. So what I'm doing is not, trying anybody in public, just simply putting out the case so that the people of this country know it best.
You have put up about 10 cases so far.
Yes.
Are you going to continue these press conferences for potentially 2,000 cases?
Oh, no. I will continue the press conferences to the extent that I do an investigation and I unearth, acts of criminality by any public official. I will have to announce it to the people of this country. I'm not going to stop today. I won't stop tomorrow. All right.
You're getting sued over these things.
No. Nobody can sue me for what I say.
You have been sued. You have been sued. At least Governmental Ibrahim's lawyers have sued you.
Ask him where the suit is. All right. How can you sue, the Attorney General for announcing a criminal investigation, right? And what defamation suit can succeed on, when on the face of it, there's credible evidence of wrongdoing. You and I, as lawyers, are arguing about what he did because, objectively, you agree that there's an act, that ought not to have been, done. The question whether he is guilty of criminality is one that we leave to the court. Okay. All right. But the fact that we are arguing about it means that there is, a credible evidence of wrongdoing that has occurred. All right. And so, for me, I don't see how anybody can succeed.
As you say, there are teams
suit.
And special teams and secret so-called teams that are trying to help you, even offshore and so on. We're human. Some will make mistakes.
Yes.
So when you are leading the prosecutions, don't you give yourself the benefit that potentially you could be wrong?
Oh, yes, I do.
So and if you make the pronouncements you make at these press conferences, and then later things turn out differently, what are you going to do?
Well, if the court says objectively that my evidence doesn't stand up to scrutiny, so be it. I will accept it. Or if I don't agree, I will appeal. All right. That is how the law works. The due process must take place. Now, I have to be first of all confident in the cases that I bring before I step into a courtroom. And I said that at the beginning of my tenure, that if I don't believe that wrongdoing has taken place, I will not prosecute anybody just because of politics.
Right. Iyoko, there have been calls for you to advise them against using bail as punishment.
Yes.
Do you believe Iyoko is in the wrong in imposing hefty bail, conditions that keep the suspects in custody? And for some situations, you have seen people spend weeks, people spend months in custody.
Well, you see, I said before, and I'll say it again. It is the huge sums of money that we are dealing with. And you and I know, all right, that the bail bond must mimic, significantly the sum that is involved in the trial, just so that if you want to extreat the bond, if the person becomes a flight risk and you want to extreat the bond, right, you can, obtain significant amount or significant property in order to extreat the bond. So that is the reason why, they do that. But I have had occasion, and you are right, I've, advised them that the bail should not be, where they know, for instance, that a person is not a flight risk, okay, they should not impose bail conditions that will keep them, that will curtail their liberty.
In fact, the fact that the courts are slashing down these bail terms is evidence that they have been harsh.
But if you,
and unfair to these suspects.
If you take what the courts are doing, the courts are responding to bail, review applications. But you can tell in the National Service case, the initial bail imposed by the judge, not us, all right, imposed by the judge.
Rather went up.
They went up.
Right. So, Galamsey, could be the undoing of this government. You believe so, not you?
Every Ghanaian believes so.
Every Ghanaian believes so.
Because Galamsey is a menace that needs to be tackled effectively.
The promise has been that the kingpins are the ones to be dealt with, and they will be dealt with, including by the use of tribunals.
Yes.
How far have we gone with this work? The kingpins, including members of your party, you announced that they are being investigated, and it doesn't appear there is anything more.
Let's first of all deal with the tribunals. So the bill has been given cabinet approval, and is being reworked, in accordance with the instructions of cabinet. So in February, when Parliament comes back, the bill will be laid. And I remember you and I had some conversations about the time limits that we have put into the bill. There were some concerns, expressed with respect to those by persons within the judiciary who had a preview of the bill. So I'm revising it. I'm revising the bill, and I'll make it, publicly available.
The question has been, what's the guarantee that tribunals will give us speedy trials?
Well, that is why the legal framework is being revised, so that, statutorily, there are mandatory, timelines with respect to. So, for instance, adjournments. You see, part of the problem we've had with, the trials is the long adjournments that are given. So, for instance, if you are supposed to give a ruling, of, let's say, on a preliminary matter, all right, and you are taking an adjournment of 3 months to give just, a simple ruling that could have been done that very day or subsequent.
What's the guarantee that a tribunal will do it expeditiously?
No, the guarantee is in the law. It's in the law. The law will provide. It's so detailed. It will provide timelines, for adjournment. So, for instance, we are putting it in the law that an adjournment, should not exceed 2 weeks, 14 days, and so on and so forth. All right, and we will make sure that of course, once it is the law, the chairperson and the members of the tribunal will have to adhere to the law. They cannot, for instance, in the face of a statutory provision, now give adjournments that are, very long in duration.
Right. So the kingpins in the Galamsey, fight.
Yes.
At least you started, and when people were saying you've lost the moral, ground to be able to take on anybody else because you have freed your own people and you are not chasing anybody, you announced, we got to know that you are pursuing your own people, at least 2 of them, of your national officers.
Yes.
But that's been it, an announcement, and a further announcement.
Well, I wrote to the Economic and Organized Crime Office to, based upon, credible intelligence that we gathered, that that they should conduct the investigation, and I left it to the EOCO to do so. So as at now, no report has come to my office with respect to those 2, and I'm waiting for them to be able to do so.
You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform, and in the last hour, we have been interacting with the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dominic Ayine, on a number of issues about their contributions to the stability of the currency and the economy, in the performance, in the manner that has received general plaudits from Ghanaians. And he's been trying to explain to us how their, department, so to speak, has contributed to that. Remember, he was one of 3 who were first appointed, the first batch of ministerial nominees. The first batch of ministerial nominees were the finance minister, the energy and green transition minister, and then the attorney general and minister for justice. That clearly signified a certain, strategic significance of their coming in. He explained why that had to be done, because on the economic front, as you know, this country had, gone too low, as it were. Historic proportions were rated junk status by the credit agencies. For the first time, people's money, pensions, had to be, the government had to dip its hands into people's pensions. And I remember Dr. Bawumia saying that the economy was near collapse, but for the gold for oil and other programs. And I have said that the economy was actually heading to Sri Lanka. I've heard others say so as well, and I believe so. It was heading to Sri Lanka, where fuel was rationed. The president there had to be chased out of his home. So he speaks about their contributions to that, and through legislation. If you're talking about the gold board came in as a result of legislation. All of these have helped in some way. But you remember Oral, Okudzeto Ablakwa and his team, they projected Oral to us that they were going to get at least 21.1 or 2 billion US dollars. And I've been asking him about that. Of course, he thinks that estimation or projection is a bit too high, but they have a way around it. We've also spoken about a couple of the Oral cases so far and how he's been perceived to be biased in his prosecutions. Now,
PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.